Hey guys, it's Mike. Today we're gonna go over how to install REDCap locally on your machine for mostly for REDCap software development and just I guess knowing how to install REDCap in general for those REDCap administrators to be, or just learning how to use REDCap and knowing the ins and outs of the REDCap installation process. So let's get started here. Okay, I have one more slide to show you guys here. So some of the basic requirements for us, since we're going to just use this installation mainly for software development, such as plugins, hooks, or some sort of API for REDCap. What we want to do is go ahead and install Wamp. Wamp is a software package that's used for quick development on the I guess Wamp stack or whatever we have here, Wamp, LAMP, whatever you want to call it. But it's basically Windows, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. It includes all those, and especially with the new version of Wamp, it has PHP 7.0. You can also install them separately if you want to, but the software makes it easy for us because it includes all the things we need, like Apache and the MySQL database. So that makes it easier for us to get started here. Alright, so that's pretty much all I have for the slide wise, and we'll get straight to doing this here. Alright, so first thing what we want to do is go ahead and download Wamp. Right, we need that software. So I've already gone to the website and I've already downloaded, but you can just click on the top right hand corner here where it says English, and then you can click on download, and most likely you're going to use a 64-bit machine nowadays, so go ahead and click on this and download it and install it. Right, so now that you have the software installed on your computer, you should see a little icon on the bottom right hand corner of your taskbar. Most likely you're on a Windows machine. If not, then you wouldn't be installing Wamp. You'd be installing LAMP or some other package. But anyways, so let's just go ahead and just check out what happened. Make sure that the Wamp server and all the sources has started. So you just click on localhost, make sure that's true. Okay, that's interesting. Requires elevated. What we do is we just go to localhost. I just wanted to test. Make sure that the web server's up. And it is. See how basically this package here includes a lot of the extensions that one would use for development and some other stuff, but mainly we just want to have a working web server, and it's actually up right now. So right, so we have to have a web server, Apache 2.4 whatever is running, and it's using PHP 7. Again, I'm using PHP 7, but you can actually switch. If you left click on the Wamp icon, you can actually switch PHP version like I have right here. So alright, so once you have that, once you basically confirm that you have your web server up and running, it'll let you know via the icon, that Wamp icon having a green color. Alright, so what we want to do again is we want to make sure that we download REDCap, the zip file, whatever it is that we have. For us at VCU, we have a specialized, basically a branch of version of REDCap that we kind of customize, so we have to keep up with it. But for everyone else, I guess you can just download REDCap and make sure you have the latest version of REDCap or whatever version you want to work with. For example, today we're going to be installing REDCap 7.4.9, which is the latest LTS for us. we're in the LTS I guess branch in a way. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and go to that folder that has the Wamp installed. Alright, so what I do is go ahead and it's most likely installed on Wamp 64, your www folder, and I have some some demo and some other stuff within here, but you can create a new folder called REDCap. So just right click on screen, new folder, and just name it REDCap. You don't technically need to do that if you just unzip the downloaded zip file that included with the package for REDCap. So for example, if we go to our downloads, let's see here. REDCap, for example, 7.4.9 has a REDCap folder in it already. So if you can just unzip the 7.4.9 zip that you have, just copy this whole thing over, copy REDCap, and paste it into your www folder, basically here, and you basically will have REDCap and all its required files, needed file, all the dependencies and whatnot, all those PHP files. It's going to be in here. Your structure might be a little different. I've added some stuff for development wise, but basically just have a basic installation of REDCap is all we need right now. So anyways, just assume that you've got all the files in this REDCap folder, right? So it should have a fairly straightforward structure where it's C, Wamp 64, www, REDCap, and within that REDCap folder you have all your files, including the versions and stuff. You would have one. I have two because I have a previous installation. So alright, so let's go ahead and minimize that. Alright, so how do we install REDCap? What we want to do is, since you have the browser up, you can just go to localhost, and that will get you to this index screen for the Wamp. It just tells you what you kind of have as well as the extensions and maybe some other stuff you have. So on the URL here, type in localhost and then REDCap, because that's where you installed or extracted your files to. And then press enter. Now again, I've already got REDCap installed, so let's just assume that let's see here, we don't have REDCap installed. So give me 1 second, let me undo everything. And by the way, having VS Code is probably a good editor to work with various languages and whatnot, but let's see here. Alright, so let's assume that we don't have anything here. That's what's going to happen. Basically, REDCap's going to scream at you and say, hey, I don't have anything configured for database wise. So what we have to do is go into that REDCap folder that we just extracted to, open the database.php file. You can use your favorite editor, Notepad, Pad 2 or whatever, Notepad++ or VS Code that I have. Open it up, and what you want to do is you want to go ahead and fill out some database information. Now you might not even have a database at this point, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of backtrack a little bit and get you guys to install or actually add a database or create a database on your local instance, because most likely at this point you don't have a database yet. So again, let's go ahead and do that. An easy way for us to get to where we need to go is use Php Myadmin, which is actually installed automatically as part of the Wamp package, Wamp executable. So as you see, if you left click, you just go to click this button that says PHP Myadmin. Okay, well, these would be too restrictive for this computer, but what you can do is just go to another tab, do localhost, and just go PHP Myadmin, press enter, PHP without an extra H. There you go. Alright, my computer's a little slow, so give it a couple seconds. It'll bring up the UI for interacting with MySQL. Alright, so first of all, the username's most likely root, at least for the Wamp installation. So look at your documentation if you're installing something else. But for Wamp, it's root and there's no password. So click on go, and you head straight into the basically the console screen or the web version of it. Alright, so I have a couple of things here already because I've already created a couple demo and database and all that stuff. But just for a quick start, I'm going to go ahead and click on the left right here. It says new. So click on new. So we want to create a new database for our REDCap installation, and we just call it REDCap actually. Whatever you want to name it, but I think REDCap makes sense. Or you can do local REDCap or test REDCap, something like that. REDCap. Alright. You don't have to worry about collation here, but UTF-8 is what we usually use. And yeah, I think this is fine. Just use UTF-8. We have a general Latin. Generals, yeah, here you go. We use that one, the general. Alright, so let's just go ahead and click on the create button. And you should now have a database called REDCap. You see how it's spinning on the left hand side? It's creating a database for you, but if you actually click on it, there's nothing in there. Well, that's true because we just created, there's nothing in there now. There's no tables created, nothing to really load, honestly. So we can create tables, as you see here. We can start doing all that stuff, but again, we just let it sit. We just created a database. We want to go ahead and switch back to our VS Code editor or your text notepad or whatever. We want to go ahead and add the database name here. So we just created the database. Mine's called REDCap, the one I just created. Username is going to be root. Again, we're going to use the default admin username and password. I don't want to get too complex into it, but obviously you can create a username specifically for this database to have access to it, and so on. But to keep it simple, it's just using the super user, the admin account for the database. Obviously, in the production environment, you have your specific settings and all that stuff, but let's not worry about production since we're installing this on a local machine. So username and then password. Again, we don't have a password, or I didn't set one. I could, but that would be more complex, right? I'm gonna go with no password. Then what else we need? We need just one more thing. We need to set the salt. We can set not me, or like not my president, something like that. No, I actually like not me. Anyways, okay, so that's fine. Alright, so database is the configuration for the database, where it's located, and username and password's been set. So now we can go ahead and go complete or actually start our installation. So back to our REDCap tab here. So earlier we tried to get to REDCap and it wouldn't go because there's no database configuration. Okay, great. Now we got our database configuration. What we need to do is we need to install. So if you're upgrading, I think it's a little different with the process wise, but let's, for our purpose, we'll start from scratch, right? So you have to know where you're gonna go to install this REDCap application here. You have to do localhost /REDCap because that's our, complies with basically our folder structure here. So at this REDCap, so we're there. So this is www REDCap, and we have to go to the install file. That's where it starts things. Install.php. This basically fires another interface up to allow us to kind of look up our look over our information here. You can actually run some queries to create a default REDCap user if you wanted to right now, and all this jazz. It basically found the database and it was successful, that it can talk to it, etc. And also provides us with some details on system installation values, display format, just the regular admin stuff. And you can put your name here, contact, like at, whatever. So super at, whatever you want to name your email or whatever you have. I'm just gonna leave everything default and just click on the save changes, because again, this is just a local instance for development purposes, like hooks and plugins, etc. So save changes. Alright, well, to the next step 4 of the installation process. If you left click on this window here, it'll highlight the whole thing, and you can just right click and copy. It's just the easier way for me. I always do that. And then what we want to do is flip over to the other tab on the right hand side over here. What we want to do is basically execute this SQL command. So we've already copied the whole jazz of SQL command onto our clipboard. So now we just click on this SQL tab right here. We just control paste or right click paste, whatever you want to do. So we pasted the whole SQL statement here from this box here for installation, and you can actually look up this information in the installation of REDCap itself, where there's a SQL folder and with all the SQL commands. But anyways, that's another thing. So right, we're gonna go ahead and just check and make sure that didn't do anything funny. Alright, so that's there. You can just click on the go button down here. This will then go ahead and execute the statement, or all the statements and commands that have been loaded. So give it a few seconds. Taking a while. Alright, great. It says 1 row affected. Alright, interesting. Should be many rows, right? But anyways, okay, we got the REDCap database. If you left click on it now, it should have quite a bit more table. Basically, it created all the structure and tables and things that REDCap needs to run properly, right? So all these tables here has been created. Yep. 114 tables. REDCap has grown quite a bit. It used to be like 20, when I can actually remember all the name. Now I don't. We have REDCap IP band. Nice. Alright, let's flip back to the installation screen. Step 4, all you have to do is click on if you're in the upgrade process, it will actually read the configuration. It'll pop up a little screen, all that stuff. But in the new installation, you won't have all that fancy stuff. So just click on here, this link. It will actually go to the local instance that you just installed, and that's a configuration check. Make sure all things are good. For our purposes, we don't really mind all this red, like SSL. Hey, you don't have SSL yet, right? Because we haven't configured it yet, and all this stuff. I think it's important, but for development purpose, we just have to have a local REDCap instance up and running, at least for now. If you go all the way to the bottom, click on localhost REDCap, or you can just type it, or yeah, just click on it. Right, there you are. So the default user that has been created is called site_admin, and you can definitely change that. You click on control panel or control center. What you have to do is you have to add a new user. So add new user table base, because that's what we're running right now, table. Say triple. Alright. Forget, update all this stuff, not gonna expire. Alright, click on save. Another tidbit of information is that you don't have to have like you know, Wamp or anything. You can have some other stack that you use. Obviously, you can install this. Most production sites on Linux. You can even use SQL Server as a backend. You use IIS as the web server, and so on. So it's not restricted to just this type of installation. So again, this is just for development and ease of development. So, all right, have a good day. Thanks.